Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another installment of Scott's Selections here on Thursday, August 15th. Before we get into today's play of the day, we'll quickly recap what happened yesterday. And unfortunately, our winning streak came to an end as the Cincinnati Reds and Washington Nationals game did end up going over in the first 5 innings, and the number we got was at 4.5 at minus 110 on 5 dimes. Unfortunately, it was 1-1 going into the bottom of the fifth, which means that we needed the Nationals to score less than 3 runs in the 5th inning, and we would have won. Very solid spot, and the Nationals ended up scoring 10 runs in the 5th inning, and we ended up losing. It was just really bad. The Nationals' 9 straight batters got on base. You had the 6, 7, and 8 hitters coming up. Strasburg had an RBI single in the bottom of the 5th. Bauer completely fell apart, which was a shame. It looked like we had an easy winner there, but the Nationals ended up killing us on the Eaton 3-run home run, ended up scoring 7 more runs for good measure, just to rub it in a little bit. So we picked up a loss yesterday, unfortunately, on the bad beat. But how's it going, Corey? Thanks for joining us. How's it going, Steven? Nice to see you again. Overall, in terms of the play of the day, we're going to be sticking to baseball. As much as I wanted to talk about preseason football today, I really just couldn't do it. I just don't like any of the 5 games that are on today in terms of betting. If you are interested in football, you can give them a try. But overall, the only thing I was somewhat interested in was the under in the Eagles and Jaguars game. But that number opened up at 38. It's plummeted all the way to 33.5. And I'm not giving that out at 33.5 because I just think that number's too low. But I definitely don't trust either team to score. So I'm going to skip the entire football card. And instead, I'm just going to dive right into the play of the day in baseball. And we're going to be looking at a matchup between the Atlanta Braves and the New York Mets. And we're going to be taking the Braves on the money line at minus 120, which is available at Pinnacle. Pitching matchup, you have Stroman versus Tehran. And in terms of this pitching matchup, I do think the Braves have a slight edge. I know that Stroman so far this season is 6-11, but it's also because Toronto's gave him a ton of, just ineptitude in terms of offense, and he ended up losing a lot of games despite having a 3.2 ERA. Meanwhile, Tehran is 7-7 with a 3.35 ERA. However, Tehran has been really good at home. He's 3-3 with a 2.52 ERA, and he's also had great career numbers versus the Mets, as in his career in 27 starts against the Mets, he has a career 2.68 ERA, so he has done really well against the Mets in his career. Plus, if you also look at his numbers against Mets batters, in a whopping 364 career at-bats, the Mets have a career batting average of 214 and a career on-base percentage of 295. I think Tehran should pitch well. The Mets, I'm a little bit concerned with their offense, especially with Jeff McNeil going on the injured list, and after he's not going to be playing for the next week and a half or so. So that's definitely a big blow to the Mets, as he's been batting roughly 335 plus for the entire season. And based on how the Mets choked away yesterday's game, I definitely don't want to back them here. I know the Mets were one of the hottest teams in baseball, but that also has to do with the fact that you got to play the Pirates and the Marlins back-to-back, and then ended up having some thrilling come-from-behind wins against the Nationals due to their terrible bullpen. The Braves' bullpen's not good. Neither's the Mets. And Stroman, overall, despite having decent numbers, has not really looked that great in his last couple of starts with the Mets. Since being acquired by the Mets, he has gone a total of 10.1 innings and has given up 7 earned runs. So based on that, he has an ERA with the Mets of 6.1. Haven't really been that impressed. I know the Mets have won both games that he started, but overall, he's still given up. He just hasn't pitched well. He's gone 6 innings, 4 earned runs, and 4 1/3, and gave up 3 earned runs. Tehran has not pitched well against the Mets this year, but I definitely think McNeil being out of the lineup is a huge deal for the Mets, as he, in my opinion, is the best hitter on the entire team. So for that reason, I think Tehran should pitch well. I think that Stroman should struggle a little bit, especially with the way that the Braves offense has been performing over the last couple of days. And plus, the Braves bullpen's a mess, and the Mets bullpen's also a mess. Lugo blew the game yesterday, but he has been the Mets' best reliever for about a month or so. And since he threw about 30 pitches yesterday, he will definitely not be available tonight, which means you should see bigger roles for Edwin Diaz and some other people. So I definitely don't like the Mets bullpen in this one. Braves have been great at home, and I definitely think that they will show it once again on Thursday. Quick question from Vegas real quick. What do I think of the over or under in the Braves game. In terms of the total, wind is supposed to be blowing out roughly 8 miles an hour straight to center field, which definitely benefits the over. I know that you have seen a decent amount of line movement on the over as it opened up at 9.5 and has been bet all the way up to 10.5. In terms of where I'd lean, I would lean to the second half over if I had the choice. Vegas, I don't know if your book has that offer, but if you have a choice between taking the first half over or the first 5 over and the last 4 over, I'd recommend taking the last 4 over, as with these windy conditions blowing out to center field, I expect both bullpens to be absolutely terrible, and I definitely think that you should see some late fireworks in this game. For me, though, I think Stroman will struggle more than Tehran. I think Atlanta will get a lead early, especially with their lineup and how it's significantly better than the Mets at this point in time with McNeil out of the lineup. And I definitely think that Stroman, who's had very, very poor numbers against Atlanta batters in his career, specifically Atlanta batters in 82 plate appearances have an on-base percentage of .337. So I definitely think that they should perform well in this one. And I'd lean to the second half over there. So that's just my thought on that, Vegas. But the play of the day will be on the Atlanta Braves, minus 120 on the money line. And that game should have first pitch at roughly 7:20 Eastern time. In terms of the rest of the betting card today, really don't like much from the card. I know that I said the same thing yesterday. Sorry about that. But in terms of football, I've already talked about it. I don't really like anything in particular. I know money has – I can tell you where money has come in on, but I'm not going to tell you personally what I'm going to be betting because I'm probably going to be skipping the entire card. Might be live betting something, but overall nothing much. A lot of sharp money on the under in the Jacksonville and Eagles game. Other than that, you've had some money come in on the under between the Ravens and the Packers. Total opened up at 40, down to roughly 37. So you have seen roughly 3 points, and it's even down to 36.5 in some spots. So you have seen some money on the under in that as well. Other than that, you've had money come in on the Falcons, open up at minus 1.5, now up to roughly minus 2.5, depending on where you shop against the Jets. So money's coming on the Falcons. I'm a little bit skeptical of that line movement because of the fact that Dan Quinn has, I believe he's 0-6 in his last 6 preseason games, something like that. Not very good, but overall, money's come in on the Falcons. You've also had a small amount of money come in on the Bengals. Not much. Redskins open up at minus 3, down to minus 2.5. Total stayed roughly around 41 the entire time, so not much money on that one. And lastly, you have money coming in on the Raiders. The Cardinals open up at minus 3, and now they're currently down to minus 1 or minus 1.5 in most books. So money has come in on the Raiders on that one. So if you want to back some sharp line movement, then just rewind the video, listen to what I just said, and then you could potentially back it on, with your own risk. But I'm not going to be giving out any thoughts on those games. In terms of the baseball card, pretty limited, but overall, I don't really like anything here. I would lean to the Astros with Sanchez versus Fiers on the mound. I know Fiers have been great over the last couple of months, but Sanchez has looked really good so far with the Astros. And after the Astros bullpen gave up a grand slam in the 8th inning against the White Sox yesterday, I definitely think they should look to bounce back in this one. Oakland did perform pretty well in San Francisco, but I definitely think Houston is a different animal. And I think that Sanchez should pitch well. I think that Houston overall is a better bullpen than Oakland does. And I think Houston also has the better lineup. So I will lean to the Astros on that one. And other than that, a small lean to the over in the Angels and White Sox game with Lopez versus Heaney on the mound. Lopez has been great since the All-Star break, but his ERA is still over 5 on the road. Heaney's ERA is over 5 at home, and I simply just don't trust either bullpen. I know that the White Sox lineup was ice cold, but then it did wake up over the last couple of games against the Astros as they ended up scoring 13 runs yesterday. And the Angels finally ended their losing streak by scoring 7 runs against the Pirates, but they've still given up 10 runs or more in 2 of their last 3 games. And based on how the White Sox have been performing lately, I definitely think that this game should go over the 9. So I will lean to the over 9 on that one, which is available at minus 105 on 5 dimes. However, the play of the day will be on the Atlanta Braves money line, which is available at minus 120 at Pinnacle, and that is the play of the day. Now, before we conclude today's video, quick reminder of our sponsor, PointsBet, online sportsbook in New Jersey. A couple of great deals for you. Up to 2 risk-free bets up to $1,000. So if I end up betting on any sport and end up losing, I simply get my money back, which is a great promotion I wish more sports books would use. However, before I actually end today's video, I kind of wanted to get some thoughts on all of you in the comments section. In addition to going over the college football games that are going to be coming up in the next couple of weeks, I was thinking about maybe doing a segment involving some futures with regard to the NFL and college football, talking about some win totals, talking about some stuff that's caught my eye. I know that futures are a long-term investment. I don't know if any of you would be interested in that as college football is finally upon us. But let me know in the comment section below if you wanted me to potentially cover some futures, talk about some win totals in college football, and talk about what I expect some teams that possess some value in terms of their over and under. So just let me know in the comment section, and I will try to, if some of you want it, I'll consider doing it. And I also am planning on doing some daily fantasy stuff coming up during the NFL season. So I'll give out some thoughts in terms of FanDuel lineups or DraftKings lineups. So let me know about that, and I will try to get it done if I see a big enough interest in that type of content. But overall, that's going to do it for this installment of Scott Selections here for Thursday, August 15th. Good luck to all of you and your respective bets today. Bye, everyone.